Howdy folks, I do hope you're all enjoying your weekend and welcome back to Red Dead Redemption 2 with the mighty Jingles. And in between following the main plot, missions and storyline, I found myself heading back to Valentine. For some strange reason, I'm not entirely sure why. And it was while here that I came across, well, like the guy who's looking for his friend Gavin, there's another set of recurring characters that seem to keep popping up throughout the game. And you first run into them, or at least I did, here behind the barber shop, in the town of Valentine.
Now, you see, Helen, Acri here is a silly boy.
And Protus isn't a boy at all, but a chimpanzee that a man shaves a face into every day.
You can't punch, my sweet. It's sad, really. Oh, my, our friend.
Hello.
I bet you can punch. Do me and the lady a favor here, would you? And thrash this impudent wretch.
Thrash! No man alive can thrash me.
What was your name, sir?
Arthur.
Arthur could. Easily.
You, maybe, but not me.
I know. Punch us both. As hard as you can. You'll break his glass jaw, and I'll be left standing. The knight and the knave.
Good idea. Hit me, then. Dear boy, give the feeble fellow a little tap and watch him crumble. Come on.
Yep, this is about a woman, and yep, they do both deserve a damn good punching.
You really walloped him.
Right, yikes! I'm fine.
Come on!
Ooh, look there! I got a proper chin. Not like that toe rag.
Good Lord above. Doesn't hurt.
Oh,
Hey, hit me again. Right here.
Right here.
Weren't you taught never to hit girls? Punch a man for once. Give me your worst. Hit. Oh,
I think he's done for.
barely even felt it.
Oh, there's only one thing for it, then. Hit me in the manhood. Don't worry, sir. Mine are made of steel. Real steel, huh? No holding back this time.
Challenge accepted.
They've come out his ears. My turn.
Enough, gentlemen?
Yes, I think so. I slipped, and I hope you killed the leprechaun.
And he's still alive? Shoot him, please, one of you.
There, up you get. We need to get some steak on those wounds.
Madam, gentlemen, good luck to you.
Trust me boys, any woman who gets off on seeing the two of you try to outdo each other for her affection is not going to be worth the effort. Anyway, back to the plot. This week, Dutch is taking a little break from his main mission of trying to stir up a war between the Lakota Sioux tribe and the US Army, because some news has just reached him about an old friend from the past.
Don't you worry about me.
There you are. Here I am. Come on, let's go. Let's go where? And why are you so riled up?
Today is a great day, Arthur. Today is the day they are going to hang Colm O'Driscoll.
That's so.
Rather they hang him or I shoot him.
Oh, they are gonna hang him.
Yeah, and not before time.
That boy's been on the gallows more than most. I wouldn't count anything until his neck's broke.
Well, nor would I. Which is why, despite us being wanted men, we're gonna attend the event ourselves.
And follow him onto the scaffold?
Well, let's hope not. But if I could see that son of a bitch breathe his last, I think I'd die a happy man. We are gonna disguise ourselves
In this?
in this.
I'm impressed. For once, Dutch actually has a good plan.
Okay.
Come on.
Although if there is a way this plan can be fucked up, I guarantee Dutch will find it.
Well, don't we just look the part?
We'll cut through the alley to get to the gallows. We keep our weapons holstered, our disguises on, and our wits about us.
Mrs. Adler, Might I say, being a fancy woman of Saint Denis suits you.
I'd dress up like the Queen of Sheba if it meant seeing that son of a bitch swing.
Colm hung me up, nearly butchered me. That don't mean I'm comfortable in this woolen coat.
You made it out of that predicament, as I remember, Mr. Morgan. My husband weren't so lucky.
You lost your husband. I lost my darling Annabelle. That poor boy Kieran. We've all lost something because of Colm. And that is why we will shepherd him to eternity.
Amen to that.
Now keep those fingers off those triggers, because we'll need cool heads and calm dispositions to see this done.
Practice what you preach, brother.
Whatever do you mean?
Are you gonna keep your cool? Really? When you seem to lose it all so often now.
This doubting and questioning of yours, I miss the old Arthur.
Don't we all?
You two quit it. We all got a job to do, and we're all in rough agreement about how we're doing it. As far as I can tell.
Exactly.
We'll get it done, all right.
All right then. Come on. We got a hanging to witness.
Look here, don't the public love an execution?
Indeed they do. In London, in the early 1900s, crowds of up to 100,000 would turn up to watch a famous criminal swing, and in the last public execution in the US in 1936, up to 20,000 turned up to watch.
Good. Now, you see that pair of assholes?
Sure.
They're Colm's boys.
Yes, I think so.
What a surprise. I'm glad we're here. What are they pointing at?
I don't know. We gotta follow them and find out.
Yeah. Oh, here comes somebody. Stay here.
Don't do nothing.
Go brush that horse, officer.
Yes, sir.
The crowd came to see a show. We don't want to disappoint them.
I guess they did miss their chance to see John swing by his neck.
Hey, you know I wasn't going to let it come to that.
I guess I don't know what I know no more.
And I guess this isn't the time to question either my decisions or yours. Here and now, Colm O'Driscoll's going to get his due. He's cutting in there.
I saw a lady on a bicycle.
Bunch of cops.
She took herself right across the road.
How many? Enough. So what do you think?
I was up on the roof. Once he starts shooting, we had to have our wits about us and move fast.
Yeah, I guess we faced worse than this before.
Sure. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
So, they got a guy up on the roof overlooking the gallows. Find a way up there, onto one of these verandas, through a building maybe, and get him. And do it silently.
Well, obviously I'm gonna do it silently. I want to see this bastard swing.
Waiting on the rain.
What's this then? A gun case. Your boss is gonna swing, I promise. Well, Colm, there goes your escape plan.
Today, justice catches up with him.
As well you may. I've been a bad man.
Silence!
These charges
This is not a court where you shall be tried. This is a place where your sentence is to be carried out. And your sentence, Colm O'Driscoll, is that you are to be hanged by the neck until you are dead. This is not a task we take lightly. It is not a task we enjoy. But it is a task we must carry out if our civilization is to prosper. Gentlemen, are we ready? Colm O'Driscoll, may God, in his infinite wisdom, have mercy upon your soul. Whenever you are ready.
Now you know how it feels to watch somebody you love die. You ruined my life!
Oh, Sadie, for God's sake. Right, okay, fine. Well, it's a good job I'm on the roof with a rifle, because it wouldn't be Red Dead Redemption 2 if we weren't shooting our way out. Speaking of public executions, I learned something very interesting recently about the death penalty in the USA. I mentioned earlier that the last public execution carried out in the USA was in 1936 when a crowd of 20,000 turned up to watch. And while that is technically true, in most states you are still allowed to turn up in limited numbers to witness executions carried out by the states behind closed doors inside federal penitentiaries. This is mostly done for two reasons. First, so that there are witnesses to the execution, so the state can prove that it happened, and also to allow relatives of the victims to see justice carried out. But these aren't really public executions in the same way that public executions happen in Saudi Arabia, for example. Hell, in Saudi Arabia they don't just do public executions, they do mass executions. 23rd of April this year, the Saudi Interior Ministry stated that the kingdom had carried out a mass execution of 37 imprisoned civilians who'd been convicted, mostly on the basis of confessions obtained under torture, or, and you're not going to believe this, because this is an official statement by the Saudi Interior Ministry, confessions written by their torturers. Yeah, really. Also, Saudi Arabia apparently is a very, very bad place for you to practice sorcery, because in 2010 a Sudanese migrant worker was executed in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the crime of sorcery. I am not making this up. I mention all of this just to put into context the belief that people seem to have that the USA leads the world in executions. In fact, not a lot of people realise, but between the years 1967 and 1977 there was a moratorium on the death penalty throughout the United States. It was overturned in 1976 when the death penalty was resumed. But the interesting thing that I learned about the death penalty in the USA pertains specifically to the state of Utah. After the moratorium ended in 1976, Utah was the first state to resume executions when it executed Gary Gilmore in 1977. And they didn't hang him, they didn't give him a lethal injection, they didn't put him in the electric chair. He was shot in front of a firing squad.
Well, we got him.
Let's just get out of here.
Go.
Prior to the moratorium going into effect, Utah would offer death row inmates the option of death by hanging or death by firing squad. Only 6 ever chose death by hanging. The rest were shot. Now, Utah's not the only state in the USA that would execute people by firing squad, although there have been by far more executions by firing squad in Utah than any other state. In 1913, Andrija Merkovich became the first and only inmate in Nevada to be executed by shooting. The only problem was the warden of the state prison couldn't find 5 volunteers to form the firing squad, and so they built a shooting machine, I'm not making this up, to carry out the execution. Prior to the 1967 moratorium on the death penalty, the state of Utah had executed 38 of its 44 executed death row inmates by firing squad. And since 1960, there have only been 3 executions by firing squad throughout the entirety of the United States, and all 3 took place in the state of Utah. So, what explanation could there be for this fascination in the state of Utah in particular with death by firing squad? Well, it could have something to do with the fact that Utah is the home of the Church of the Latter-day Saints, more popularly known as the Mormons. The Encyclopedia of Mormonism states, several early church leaders, most notably Brigham Young, taught that in a complete theocracy the Lord could require the voluntary shedding of a murderer's blood, presumably by capital punishment as part of the process of atonement for such grievous sin. This was referred to as blood atonement. Now, the concept of blood atonement isn't a Mormon concept. It goes back thousands of years and it's present across all different kinds of cultures, but the basic idea was that if you had committed a grievous sin, spilled the blood of another, then the only way that you could properly atone for that sin was to have your own blood spilled. So it's probably not altogether surprising that in an overwhelmingly Mormon state in the USA, men convicted of capital offences and given the choice of death by hanging or death by firing squad would choose death by firing squad. Because if you hang by the neck until you're dead, your blood isn't spilled on the ground. So you haven't satisfied blood atonement and you've got some explaining to do after your execution when you're standing before God. To be completely fair, it's probably worth pointing out that the Church of the Latter-day Saints has never officially endorsed the concept of blood atonement when it comes to state executions, and in fact, execution by firing squad was banned in Utah in 2004. But the banning was not retroactive, so it didn't apply to anybody who was already sentenced to death, which meant that in 2010, the last man in the United States to be executed by firing squad was Ronnie Lee Gardner, who, because of his Mormon heritage, elected to be executed by firing squad in the state of Utah. By 2009, only the state of Oklahoma still had the option of executing people by firing squad, and even then, only as a backup in case other methods weren't available. Why would other methods not be available? Well, apparently death by lethal injection is problematic because the pharmaceutical companies are kind of reluctant to have their drugs used to kill people. Apparently they think it's bad for their reputation. And so in March 2015, Utah once again enacted legislation to allow for death by firing squad if the drugs are unavailable, and apparently several other states are also exploring the option. Now, of course, the USA isn't the only country in the world that ever executed convicted criminals by standing them up against a wall and killing them with a firing squad. And I have to admit that if the situation ever arose and I was given the choice, I would probably choose death by firing squad as well. I mean, it's almost instantaneous, it's comparatively painless, and unlike, for example, the guillotine, beheading, hanging, and the electric chair, it almost always works. Just try not to get yourself shot in Iran or China, where your families are liable to be charged for the cost of the bullet. Although, to be fair to the Chinese, the family are only charged the cost of the bullet if they wish to reclaim the body afterwards for burial. Apparently the Chinese are also trying to modernise and do away with the traditionally communist style of on your knees in a public place with a bullet in the back of your head style of execution, and instead are moving towards the much more civilised lethal injection. And apparently they're getting quite efficient at it too. Several provinces in China now employ fleets of mobile execution vans, converted 24-seater buses, to really streamline that process of getting rid of your condemned prisoners. I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing the comments in this week's episode. Anyway, back to the plot.
So good of you to join us.
What's going on?
Rebellion. The smell of cordite and integrity. It is a beautiful thing.
What are y'all doing?
An eye for an eye. We didn't start this, Arthur. They did.
We? This ain't our fight.
It surely is.
Whatever it is you're planning, it ain't a good idea. They want you to fight.
Nobody will be killed.
We're just gonna trap a few of them in the valley, disarm them, tar and feather them, and remind them to leave these boys alone.
You have energy for pranks?
Come on, Arthur. Just tweaking Uncle Sam's nose a little. I need you to help me.
Oh yeah, Dutch's plan to get the Lakota Sioux to go to war with the US Army. I'll be amazed if this doesn't go spectacularly wrong.
It's perfect. People will see these boys. They won't notice us, and they'll think we're gone. Everyone will blame everything on the Indian problem, and we'll disappear up the river. But first, we need to trap them in this pass. Help me dynamite up these trees.
So, you're using them?
No, sir. No. Never. But it is mutually beneficial to draw attention to one problem and avail over another.
These are good people, but their situation is real complex. We ain't helping them.
Sure we are. Come on, let's get this done.
Yeah, because you're all about helping the oppressed and downtrodden, aren't you, Dutch? Well, you know, the thing is, he used to be. These days, not so much.
We don't have a lot of time. The patrol should be coming in a few minutes.
Okay. Hurry, Arthur. I'll plant the dynamite, you run the wire.
We'll keep lookout from up here.
I sent for some of that dynamite you and Bill commandeered in Van Horn. Good work with that, by the way.
Bill played drunk.
The perfect man for the job.
You know, it just occurred to me, I really hope these trees fall the right way and actually block the road. Because if they don't, this could be really embarrassing.
So, you finally got to see Colm hang.
Yeah. After all those years. Hard to believe. Oh, but it was worth the wait. See? We're tying up the loose ends, Arthur. One by one.
So let's try to address the number of ways that this plan can go horribly and catastrophically wrong. The idea is we're going to trap them by blowing the trees, and then we're going to disarm them, tar them, and feather them, and then all go home and have a good laugh about it all.
Come on now, quick! Get back up here!
Okay, let's go, Arthur.
Has nobody considered the possibility that the soldiers, who presumably are going to be armed because they're soldiers, might object to the plan? They might in fact object rather violently. But I suppose Dutch is probably counting on that. I mean, nobody's going to get killed, my arse.
Hurry, I think I see some movement in the distance.
Let's at least be honest here, Dutch. The only people this is helping is us. And even then, I'm not entirely sure that the army turning up and combing the countryside is good for us either.
My spotter will let us know when they're near. They're coming now. Ah, damn. Patrol's a lot larger than we thought it was gonna be.
Don't worry. That's a good thing.
Okay, that's the signal. Here they come. Stay low and quiet.
You sure you don't want me to man that plunger, Arthur?
No, I got it.
Oh, remove the weight of the world from your shoulders for a minute. Like I said, we're just going to give them a bit of a scare.
There they are. Looks like more than we thought.
It's fine. We're only here to talk and administer a little good old-fashioned humiliation. You're owed that, son, at the very least.
Wait for my lead, men.
Everyone just stay calm. We've got the upper hand here. Okay, they've passed the first charge. If we blow it now, we should have...
Put your hands up! You're surrounded! Nobody need get hurt! Your humiliation of us has gone on quite enough.
This ain't a good idea.
Put down your guns!
You are making a mistake, boy.
No! You're making a mistake. Put your hands up, soldier. Take a little humiliation and leave these fine folks alone.
Who are you?
A concerned citizen.
Is that so?
What now?
We should move.
No, not quite yet. Soldier, you and your friends gonna tuck tail and run off? Run!
Excuse me?
I'm getting bored of this. Your friends fired first, soldier!
Yep, there it is. Instantly, everything went to rat shit, exactly as predicted. So come on, Dutch, spin this one for me. Tell me exactly how this helps the Lakota Sioux. Going to war with the US Army. When exactly has that ever worked out well for them in the past? Even 60 years ago, when they had the advantage of numbers, they still got their arses handed to them. And they definitely don't have the advantage of numbers now. In fact, we don't even have the advantage of numbers at this precise minute. The patrol itself included at least as many men as were in the ambush party, and there's a backup patrol on the way. And as if that wasn't bad enough, and believe me, it is, but the fort where these guys came from, with an entire regiment of troops, is barely 2 miles away. And they will have heard the shooting. "Oh, Arthur," says Dutch, "it's not my fault. This was never supposed to happen. There was never supposed to be any shooting. They were all supposed to just surrender quietly and take the humiliation like men."
You fools, you damn fools! It's the army! It is one regiment of pastry chefs and bullies. Watch your goddamn mouth. All of you, take what you can, and then we move out. Move now. We have to move now.
Search these men quickly, then we move.
This is crazy. Why aren't we getting out of here? They might have information on them that'll help our friends with their cause.
We need anything my father can use to strengthen our case.
I ain't sure much is gonna strengthen your case after this.
Have you noticed that ever since Dutch has started basing his plans around what should happen rather than what might happen, everything
Yes.
goes to hell in a handbasket?
Some poor fool from New Jersey. These boys ain't the problem. They're only kids.
Keep looking. Shit! Everyone, keep your heads down. We're gonna get out of this.
Yeah, I'm sure you and me are going to get out of this, Dutch. We're protected by plot armor. Eagle Flies and his friends, however, not so sure about them.
What do we do here, Dutch? This is a lot of men!
Just hold your ground. Surrender, and they'll hang you all.
You're not walking away from this!
It's my turn now.
You think you're helping those savages?
Try to flank them, Arthur. We'll shoot you some space.
Yes! We need to take out that cannon!
Up the hill! The cannon! Take out the spotter, Arthur!
This was your plan? What are you trying to do?
Well, we'll kill you yet.
Where's Peta?
Damn. They're sending riders from the fort. We need to leave.
But where's Peta? Was he killed? He's alive.
Well, that went just about according to plan.
I'm trying. I'm trying, Arthur, with everything I have, and I will keep trying, and you'll keep doubting me, and we'll keep failing.
It ain't like that, Dutch. Look at me. Look at me! I'm worried about folk.
I know. We should go.
Where's Eagle Flies?
Run, son! Run! Come on! This area is gonna be crawling with soldiers in a few minutes. We gotta leave. Now!
What about Eagle Flies?
We gotta go, Arthur. Come on!
Yeah, he's just going to leave Eagle Flies the same way he left John in Saint Denis.
Ride hard! Stay with me! Get up here, Arthur! Left here! Into the trees! Okay, let's dismount here. We won't get the horses down this path. All right, let's carry on by foot. Try and sell them a little snake oil. You think? It's all I got. Get out of here. Yeah. Let's see if we can lose them down here. Scoot. I guess not. Get behind something, Arthur.
way, isn't that the bridge we blew up the other week? I tell you what, the Corps of US Army Engineers really knows their stuff.
Behind us! Hold them off!
This is it. This.
Oh, bollocks.
Well, Arthur,
Put your hands up! I said put your damn hands up!
okay. Okay. Follow my lead. I got a plan.
Coming from you, that's not very reassuring, Dutch.
Hello, officers.
You keep them hands up and come here. Put your hands up!
Hello, Captain.
Keep your hands up and come here. Come here.
We can't do that. Your man... Those men they killed? They were good men.
Anybody else getting flashbacks to Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid here?
You're fighting nature, Captain.
Get over here!
Ask my friend here. My whole life, I tried to fight change. It's a waste. I see that now. It's a waste. You can't fight nature, Captain. You can't fight change. You can't fight.
Yep, it's a homage to that classic scene from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I have to admit did come as quite a relief, because for a few seconds there I thought Dutch's plan was to bore them to death.
Grab on! We're almost home free! Come here, big boy! I got you! You're okay. You're okay.
What a mess.
I know, but a mess is what we need. Oh, we just escaped from chaos. Eagle flies must have been taken.
Taken or killed?
Well, we can't go find out.
No, not now.
Charles, we'll send him. Where is he?
He's probably back at camp.
Let's split up. I'll go tell him. You rest up, then go meet him up at the reservation. We are gonna make it, brother. I can feel it. Faith, Arthur. Have faith.
Well, when you put it like that, Dutch, suddenly I see it all so clearly now. Everything that's gone wrong over the course of the last 6 months hasn't gone wrong because of your bullshit plans. It's gone wrong because we didn't have faith in your bullshit plans. Thanks for clearing that one up. If you could just clear one further thing up for me, Dutch, who is it who's going to have the job of telling Rains Falls that as a result of your bullshit plans, his son has been killed or captured and his tribe is now at war with the US government? Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be you. Oh well. More next week. I hope you enjoyed this one, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.